Right, grade 12. In order to finish the section on the production cost statement, there's one small section that we still need to do. You are sometimes asked to go on and do an income statement, or often is called an abridged, because it's a shortened income statement of the manufacturing business. Because remember, although they're manufacturing the goods, they still do want to sell those and sell them at a profit. Now, like any other income statement that you've done in the past, you would start with your sales and your cost of sales, and then get your gross profit. The sales, remember, was given to you in the exercise. They told us that our sales amounted to 2,400,000. That was given to you in point number 7. And then we used that when we came to work out our cost of sales in our finished goods account. Remember, we did not know how much goods came from the production plant, so we had to work out what our cost of sales were so we could work backwards. And so that same cost of sales is the exact same figure there. Remember that your cost of sales gets minused out of your trading stock account if you're using the perpetual stock. And that's exactly the same here. It would be minused out because you don't have the goods any longer. And then you work out your gross profit. So that is exactly the same and nothing different there. Now, what is different? In an abridged income statement, we don't list all our expenses like we do in our normal income statement and like you used to. Because we're working in departments, and we've had the manufacturing department, so we worked out the cost of the manufacturing. Likewise, we will also work out what the selling and distribution department cost and what the administration or the office cost. Now, you remember that as we were going through these things, I was highlighting to you that, like the indirect materials, that 70% was used for the factory, but the balance was to be shared equally between the admin and selling and distribution. The balance, the other 30%, was shared equally. And if you were drawing up these notes, then you would have indirect materials, or consumable stores as it could be called, and because they shared it equally, they'd both have the same figure. We were also given the electricity and water plus the rent. And if you remember, we had that floor space, which we already did the calculation. We worked out what the factory used. Well, using the exact same thing, we can work out what the admin and the selling and distribution with it. Now, obviously, in this case there, your rent and your electricity will be much more in the admin department than in the selling and distribution because they had a larger share of the space. And then depreciation, office equipment would go to admin, delivery vehicle would go to the selling and distribution. So in other words, it's just allocating the other part of the expenses. So you've allocated to what is factory, and then you'll allocate to what goes to selling and distribution and what will go to admin. And of course, there could be a lot more costs in this. I know in this exercise that you are doing, that we're doing here, question 58, they didn't actually ask this. So there's not a complete list of expenses. I'm just showing you how to complete it off. And then you'd get the total of these, and these totals would then go into your income statement. So in your income statement, you would have your administration costs. So we won't list each one out separately, administration costs, and that came to this figure 160,720. And we would have our selling and distribution costs, which came to 129,170. Add those two up to get your total expenses, same as you always did in an income statement, and that came to 289,890. Expenses always get subtracted, so they'd be in brackets. And then finally, if we subtract that from our gross profit, we would get our net profit. So the only thing that is different, if they do ask you to do the income statement or the abridged income statement, is that you will have 2 extra notes for the admin costs and the selling and distribution. And the adjustments will tell you which to allocate to which. So relatively simple, short little extra bit that comes into sometimes with the production cost statement.